Alright, so today we're going to make fish cakes. Otherwise sometimes called salmon cakes, tuna cakes, mackerel cakes, but I call them fish cakes because when my mom made these growing up, she always used a mix of tuna, salmon, and mackerel. The first time I made these, I was probably, I think I was 10 or 11, and a friend of mine, like we were having a sleepover, and she introduced me to these. So since then, and since starting keto, I've made my own adjustments, created my own recipe, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So what I'm going to start with, and no, I don't have the original containers for anything that I have out here. The reason is because, again, brand shouldn't matter. Keto is not, making these foods should not have to be as expensive as a lot of people think that they are. So what I'm going to start with, of course, always my trusty cast iron skillet. This thing is well seasoned, well used, well loved, and food just, I don't know, tastes better out of it for me. I'm also going to start with 1 can of tuna and 1 can of salmon. Now, you can buy salmon, just the meat. You can also buy salmon with skin and bones still in. And that's what I buy. That's what I like. This just happens to be what we had. But I always try to get the salmon with bone and skin in because it has that healthy amount of calcium that we're still looking for. It's another source of calcium, along with things like collard or mustard greens. That does not include dairy. The tuna that I'm using is white albacore. Again, that just so happens to be what we have. You can use chunk light tuna, great value chunk light tuna in a can, bumblebee, white albacore, Star Kiss Select, whatever you want. You can use whatever kind of tuna you want. What you choose, again, the brand and the type that you choose is going to dictate the cost per serving of this. But this is what we have, so this is what I'm going to use. Mix it for me. Now, when I was, alright, so now that we have the salmon and the tuna done, I also have here 4 tablespoons of coconut flour, 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, a whole onion, and an egg. Some of the recipes that I found said to use almond flour. Said to use, the recipe included almond flour. You can use either one, coconut or almond flour. The reason I'm decided to go with almond flour is because it's lighter, it's finer, and almond flour tends to be grainier, almost more like cornmeal than flour. The flaxseed is in here because flaxseed is a good binder for stuff like this. Of course, with the egg as well, and then the onions for flavoring. Now, the oil, the cooking medium I'm using is coconut oil. This is coconut oil. Part of this, as you can tell, is liquid and part is solid. It's kind of the funny thing about coconut oil. Alright. Oh, and then we also have a tablespoon of garlic. And then salt and pepper to taste. Right? So let's go over those ingredients again real quick. We have bone and skin and salmon, white albacore tuna, 4 tablespoons of coconut flour, 1 medium sweet onion, 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, coconut oil to cook in, and salt and pepper to taste. Alright? So I'm just going to mix these. And you'll notice that I haven't started heating up my pan or my oil in my pan yet. Because this is going to take a few minutes and I don't want it to get really hot. I want to be able to control that. So we'll start heating that up after we have all of this mixed. Okay? So now I have this to the consistency that I want. It's where it's nice and pliable and cookable. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn this pan on, my cast iron skillet, and add in the oil. And no, I'm not measuring this out. I'm putting in what I know I'll need to cook the fish cakes. It will, because the cakes will absorb a lot of it as it cooks, but I have no idea how much I just put in. I'm not going to answer that question. Now what we're going to do is make what we're having to go with the fish cakes. Now I know that chips are always best with fish, I know that. But potatoes and starches are a no-no with keto, so you can always have something like fried turnips or fried avocados or fried radishes or anything like that if you want. We personally are going to go with green beans. And these are snap green beans out of the produce department that I've snapped and cleaned. This works well with canned green beans, which is what I usually use. And funnily enough, I think what Scott prefers. But this is what we have, so this is what we're going to cook with. This is cooked with a tablespoon of butter, a tablespoon of salt, and a tablespoon of garlic, and some onion powder together in my cast iron skillet, which I have emptied of the coconut oil that I cooked with. but it's still nice and warm and it's still going, and this is what I love about my cast iron skillet. So we're gonna go ahead and get these started.